Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our review of NCIS Season 20, Episode 8. Everybody down for a little bit of Turkey Trot going on right now?
So, who'd you vote for? That
Really?
was that was the
Really?
funniest thing I have ever seen on this show. I just fell out of my chair with Casey's line. You've got the sisters are
Yeah.
fighting. She's so who'd you vote for? I was like, you are looking for a fight bigger than this. It
That
was so funny. Oh my Lord.
it was the perfect social commentary for what is probably going to be going on. We're recording this on a Monday. Thanksgiving's 3 days away. Like, that is the question everyone does not want to discuss in 3 days. And here's Casey. I
Oh,
mean, I
Casey.
know Deonica wrote this episode, but it still
Oh.
felt like she gave herself like these 100-mile-an-hour fastballs that she was just like throwing left. I mean, she was great in this episode.
This was my favorite episode of her. She was so funny. She was so on point. The back and forth with her and Jess about the being best friends. I mean, it was so well done. This
Yeah.
is my favorite episode of the season so far.
I really really liked it. Like I haven't gotten to the point where I'm like ranking them in my head or anything, but it's just like, we said in the video last week that we didn't really care for that one at all. Episode 7 just felt like it didn't really go anywhere and it didn't have any subplot. It's just like this episode, it was just sort of like being in a stuffy house for like 5 days and then like walking outside and getting like this big breath of fresh. This was everything that I like about this show. It was funny, dramatic,
Mhm.
good character backstory. I think people are going to want to watch this again down the road, which I think is really important for a holiday episode.
I want to watch this again right now just for that line.
You're gonna be like watching that on YouTube on like a
Oh,
loop.
it was so funny. Anyways, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. We are here every week talking about NCIS.
Yes.
We're also talking about Yellowstone. If you're watching that, we're also watching that Criminal Minds.
Yeah.
Such a good show coming back this Thursday on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Hope you guys are going to be enjoying some turkey
Yeah.
and mashed potatoes, some home baked rolls. You feeling naughty? You put some butter on that. It's going to be a really good time.
Is anybody out there getting Casey's mac and cheese, which
Oh,
hopefully you have a way to heat up? Like how do you rent out a place that
mm,
doesn't have an oven or a microwave?
I'll take that mac and cheese. You bring that on
Yeah.
over, Casey.
No kidding. Like the setup I think for this episode was really just fun from the get-go. I think all of us sort of like this idea of, okay, we're gonna meet a new family member
Mm.
at a Thanksgiving dinner or a lunch in this instance. And I love that, Jessica Knight, who is, this strong, capable, intimidating agent, is just sort of like, I need backup for this lunch. So I'm going to bring over Casey, who, as it turns out, is her best friend in the world.
I thought that was so sweet that that came out in this, that
Yeah.
we learned a little bit about what's kind of going on with Casey in general. We learned that her and her girlfriend, they're done, which was kind of surprising, actually.
Yeah.
Like, that storyline went nowhere. It was
Yeah.
all of a sudden they were dating, they had gone on a couple dates, things were going really well. Then we didn't hear anything, and now they're just not together. And I was just like, oh, why did you guys even introduce this storyline for it to just go nowhere and then end off a cliff?
Yeah, that's probably the only disappointing part of this episode. I wonder if, the actor who played Piper maybe
Yeah.
not available anymore or something. Maybe they have another plan for a love. It's just sort of like, you guys set up something that could have been fun, and like now we don't get it. Now Casey just doesn't have a personal life again.
Yeah, I mean, they don't even need the actress that plays Piper to come back. This show is notorious for having relationships that are not on
Yeah.
screen, that you don't see. I mean, Mickey's been married forever. We see
Yeah.
Delilah once a year. It's something that they can do and get away with. So, yeah, I was a little bit disappointed that that story just, it started and then it went nowhere and then it stopped. But
Yeah.
seeing her back up with Jess, their friendship has been something that I have just enjoyed so immensely on this show. So
Yeah.
when Jessica was like, listen, I gotta go see my sister. Things are really bad between us all the time. Casey's like, I am here for you. I have mac and cheese. We are gonna go together and I will help you through it. And throughout all the bickering and the back and forth, Casey really was trying to find ways to bridge the gap for them, but it was not working out.
No, the fact that Jess said the safe word like 5 seconds after showing
Yeah.
up at the place was just like, "Oh, this is really not going to be great." And it's just there's a number of things that you don't do when you're meeting a family member for the first time or you're meeting a family member's friend. Like, Jess did a couple of them, her sister did a couple of them. You
Yeah.
did sending out an embarrassing childhood nickname that early on, probably not the best move to win people over.
No, I mean, no, they were really taking some pretty hard digs at each other. It was really uncomfortable to watch. And I mean, it gives a good reminder to all of us that are going to be getting together with
Yes.
family that sometimes there are going to be people there that rub you the wrong way. And you guys just have to be like, so who did you vote for?
That's your only that's the only here's another option. Leave. That's something that everyone is capable
But
of
not
doing.
without the turkey.
Not with no, yeah, you need the turkey, you need Casey's mac and cheese. Now, this is maybe there'll be some quibbles about this. Let me know in the comments. I think it's very easy to sort of say that, okay, it's super coincidental that, Casey's sister's, new fiance is the same guy who tried to shoot Jessica earlier in the episode. But at the end of the day, I really didn't actually mind it that much because I felt like they linked like everything together in a pretty interesting way and connect it back to Jessica's past. And I think just beyond all of that, I was just having so much fun with this whole like Thanksgiving lunch scenario that once you threw in this amount of danger and you sort of justified it, I was just like, okay, you know what? I'll roll with this. I'm enjoying what you guys are giving me.
I also really like that we got a chance to see Jessica using her skill again because we haven't seen her getting into like these types of negotiations, these types of situations in a little while. So we haven't been able to see her really use this skill as effectively as she did in this episode because when we sort of learned that Charlie was with Jessica's sister to get to Jessica because Jessica wasn't able to sort of negotiate his brother from unaliving himself and he blamed Jessica for this. It came together in such a good way that I was like, "Uh-oh, here we go. Uh-oh,
Yeah.
spaghettios." But I was a bit surprised that if he went through all of this to get to her, that it would sort of be like, when you have the villain who's giving the big
Oh
monologue and
yeah.
you're like, why aren't you just taking care of what you came here for? His monologue went on so long that I was
Yeah.
like, okay, are you really as angry as you're saying you are? Because you could have been like, this is what happened. You did this to my brother and goodbye. And I know that this is NCIS and that isn't how it was going to end. But I mean, it just went on a really long time that I was kind of like, okay, maybe this guy doesn't really want to kill Jessica. He wants answers. And now that he's getting answers, here we go.
I think there's a case to be made for that. Like that maybe he did subconsciously not hit her on purpose
Mhm.
at the marathon. Maybe he's just somewhere in his head he wasn't fully capable of it. I don't know, but yeah, the supervillain monologuing did go
Ooh.
on for a pretty long time. I mean, I think it was pretty well done how Jessica sort of explained how she doesn't forget any of these people,
Mhm.
how she sort of has reminders of them, and just showing, how seriously she takes this job and how much it really means to her. Like it was a big turning point of this situation, and and it's a chance to really kind of get inside her head, I think, in a way that we haven't since she first joined the show.
I think that it probably was a situation where Charlie wasn't actually capable of killing anyone because he did miss at the run and then gets this situation where
Yeah.
it's like you're going to see how it feels and then the gun goes off and he's standing right beside the sister and he clearly missed on purpose that it was just like okay I don't think this guy was ever really capable of doing anything but they just didn't know.
Yeah, and it's impossible to know in that situation. I mean, of course you're gonna be terrified. And yeah, poor Casey. How many times are you guys going to put her in
I
positions? I
know.
mean, Deanna, you co-wrote this episode, so it's like I can't really give you the why the writers are that's doing this to you because then you have to look at yourself in the mirror. But
Exactly.
I'm sure, as an actor, it's probably it's good to have media material, and
Mhm.
she does do a lot with it. Like,
Yeah.
here's one question separate from all of this I kind of found myself wondering is that they talked in this episode a little bit about, Jimmy's in-laws and sort of,
Mhm.
his Thanksgiving plans and all that. It's kind of interesting that like his daughter really wasn't brought up at all. And I kind of just wonder, has Jess spent any time with her since that episode last season? Like, what's going on? Because, like, her trying to impress Jimmy's daughter last season was really, really funny.
Yeah, I mean, I think that she's probably spending a little bit of time with her, but it's tricky with
Yeah,
kids.
it
It's
is.
all sort of how comfortable Jimmy really is with it. Does he want to move it along a little bit quicker, a little bit slower? They seem to be, because Jessica does take a little while to get there. She eventually does get there emotionally and put herself out there, but she needs to take it slower because there was a little bit of with Jimmy, like, oh, this could be an opportunity for you to sort of meet some people. And she's like, I'm not there yet, kind of thing.
There was one other important thing I thought about as well. I was getting to the end of this episode. What NCIS character would I most want to go to Thanksgiving dinner with? And I think I have an answer, and it might surprise some people out there.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's easy to say Casey because she's got the mac and cheese and,
Mm-hmm.
the compelling argument. I kind of want to go to Parker's Thanksgiving because he's gonna serve like some really weird stuff and he's gonna have like some really weird stories. I feel like it's gonna be strange and it's gonna be an experience.
I want to go to Vance's because he's the one who was actually like hosting something and Parker was going there with McGee. I will go to Vance's all day.
Okay, yeah, you get the full team experience, but Parker, if you just want to have like, a quieter Thanksgiving down the road or you bring some weird pastries or whatever, hit me up. I'm there for it.
Nah, traditional or nothing. Give me those buttery rolls.
I think I know what we're having for Thanksgiving, everybody. Well, this was a very, very fun episode. I hope you guys liked it as much
Mm.
as we did. So hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our other NCIS coverage. Like Jess said, we also do have Criminal Minds starting up later this week.
Yep, and follow us over on Instagram, Matt and Just TV. We're gonna have a whole bunch of Thanksgiving pictures up over there.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much, and we'll see you here next time.